Hello, welcome to another Learn Minecraft hacking tutorial. And in this tutorial we're going to show you how to create your very own working volcano in the Minecraft world, which looks a bit like this. There we go. Perfect. Good. So what do we need? Well, you can either use Windows or the Raspberry Pi for this, and you need to open up a terminal in the Raspberry Pi or Windows using the shell. And you also need to open up a code editor. I've got Notepad++, and you need to create this file here, which will be in that folder, obviously under your own username, and call it volcano.py. Good, there we go. So we've done that there. Once we've done that, we also need to create ourselves a new world, because we always test these things out on new worlds, just so we don't accidentally destroy our other worlds. And let's call this Volcano. There we go. Oh, actually I've just done that wrong. Make sure you create it using the creative mode rather than survival mode. Otherwise you get halfway through the game and you get eaten just as you try to do all your coding. So make sure it's on creative mode. There we go. On the Raspberry Pi it automatically defaults to creative anyway, so it's all fine. Volcano. There we go. Good. So we've got our worlds, we've opened up a terminal, and we've opened up Notepad++ or LeafPad, whichever one you're doing. What we need to do now is we need to go and get the Minecraft module so that we can use the code, which is good. That allows us to connect to the Minecraft world. We also need to import the Minecraft block module. So that we can create blocks nice and easily, and we need to connect Minecraft create. We also need to connect to the Minecraft server. So we go and get the two modules, and we connect to the server, which is good. We're also going to want to use a couple of other modules here. We're going to need to use the random module and the time module. We're going to use those in a bit. Random so we can put blocks in random places, and the time module so we can add delays in so everything isn't happening very quickly. So there we go. We create the connection, and what we'll do is we'll just test that connection is working by doing a post to chat, and we'll do Minecraft Volcano. There we go. Good. So save that. Make sure you've saved it to the right place. And then we do Python space volcano.py. And there you go. As you can see, we know it's now connected and it's working because just down here it said Minecraft Volcano. Good. So there's the easy bit done. Now what do we need to do? Well, as you can see around me here, there's quite a lot of trees and stuff going on. So for the purposes of my tutorial, we're going to want to get rid of my trees. We want to clear a bit of space out. So how do we do that? Well, what we do here is let's just create, let's use the set blocks method, which will clear us out some space. There we go. Now, Minecraft works, the coordinates work in X, Y, Z coordinates. And the set blocks function there, or method, is accepts three: an X, a Y, and a Z, which is your start X, your start Y, and your start Z, and then your end Y, end X, end Y, and Z. So, what have we got? Well, X coordinate controls how far left and right it is in the Minecraft world. The Y coordinate controls how far up and down you want it to be in the world. And the Z coordinate controls how deep into the Minecraft world you want it to be. So what we're going to do first of all is we'll start at -100 across, start at 0 on the floor, and start at -100 deep. Then we'll go through to 100 to the right, still stay on the floor, and 100 forward, and we'll do block.air. And that hopefully should clear us some space. Let's have a go. Let's run that again. And there we go. Oh, what have I done here? Oh, as you can see, I've made a slight mistake there. I've cleared out a load of blocks, but I've just chopped them 1 deep in 1 deep height wise. So you can see massive area, but only 1 deep. So let's just change that. This here needs to go, let's do that to 50. So it's going to start at 0 and it's going to go all the way up, clear everything upwards to 50. Let's just save that. Save. And there we go. And hopefully now, there we go. I have cleared us out a massive space, as you can see there, in the Minecraft world. Plenty of area to build our volcano. Good stuff. Excellent. Good. So we've done that now. We've created some empty space. Now what we want to do is we want to start building our volcano. But before we can build our volcano, there's a couple of things we might want to change as we go along. So these things, if they're going to change or vary, we're best off storing them in a variable. We don't know how tall we want our volcano, so we need to give it a height. At the moment, I'm just going to do it 10 layers tall, which is fine. And we don't know where the center is going to be. So at the moment, the center of my volcano, I'm just going to set it to the XY coordinates of 0, 0, 0. Again, you can change this later, which is fine. But for now, I'll just set those. It does mean that later, if we do decide to change our mind, we're only changing these coordinates, or this number here. We don't have to change the rest of the program. There we go. Good. Excellent. So now what do we need to do? Well, we need to start building our, we need to start putting our first layer of Minecraft blocks on. So what we could do is we could do, let's have a look. We could do each individual layer separately, so we could doing a line of code for the bottom layer, and then do another line of code for the second layer, and then third, then fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and seventh, which we could do, and that would work. But we want to be a bit lazy, because programmers are always lazy, so rather than us do all of the lines of code, we're just going to use a for loop for each height, for each layer of the volcano. So what we can do is for I in range height, and let's do height. There we go. So now that for loop will give us a. It will repeat, and it will repeat however number of times the height is. There you go. So if the height's 10, it will go around 10 times, and each time I will stand for or represent whatever number it is at the moment in that height. So it'll go 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. In fact, I could show you here in the Python. If we just open Python, I can just do for I in range, and then 10. And then if you just do print I, it should print each. There you go, each of the numbers. So if the height was 100, it would repeat 100 times, and each time I would be, it would keep going up by 1. There we go. So, for I in range height, and what do we need to do? Well, we need to change, each time round, we need to change the size of the base that we're going to draw, because it starts out quite wide, and then it slowly gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. So how do we do that? Well, the size is going to be equal to whatever the height is, so that's, for instance, like 10 or something like that, minus this I. There we are. I. There we go. So how does that work? Well, what we do here, let me just show you here. So we do for I in, let's do height. How's this working? Well, let's do height equals 10. Oh, what have I done there? Height equals 10. And then if we do for I in range height. And then do print. What's that? Height minus 1. Height minus 1. Height minus I. Now this should now, there you go. It's just like the loop above, but what we've achieved here is by doing it the 10 minus whatever that I is, it goes down. So your height is going up. So each time round we go through this loop, your layer or your height is going up, but the size of the slice of the volcano is going down, which is brilliant. That's all we need is size. Good. So how are we going to use that size? Well, what we do here is we say, okay, mc.setBlocks, and what we need to say is, okay, how's this going to work? Let's have a look. We go to the center X. Here we go. Now the the set blocks does an x, y, z, which is going to be the start x, and then it does an x, y, z, which is the finish x. So the start x is going to be whatever the center x is there. So C naught. That naught corresponds to the first value of center. Oh, that needs to be center naught then, doesn't it? Center naught. So we go to the center, this center here, and we get the first item, which is the x coordinate. So it'll be whatever the x coordinate is to start minus this size. So the first time the x coordinate will be, if it's 0, the starting x will be minus 10, which is good. So minus size. The y coordinate, which is how far up and down you are, is going to be the second coordinate of center, which is here, which will be C1, which gets us the second one. There we go. Plus I, because I goes up by 1 each time. So we start at 0 plus I, which would be 0. But then the next time through the loop, you're going to go up to the height is 1, and then the third time 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, etc. So it doesn't matter how tall your volcano is, it will keep going up for whatever that range is. There we go. So that's the y coordinate, which is how far up and down. The z coordinate is the same as the x coordinate, because you want to come how far deep back, but this time we'll use the second item, which is the third item, which is 2. So that's the z coordinate there. So I'll just put hashtag x, y, z. There we are. Little comment there to show what it means. Good. So those are all the start coordinates now done for the volcano itself. The start there, the x, the y, the z, which is brilliant, and which is good. And what we'll do is we'll just copy that now, because we're going to do exactly the same this way, but this time the x and the z coordinate, because they're going to be, we want to go into the world now. Instead of minus 10, we want them both to be plus 10. They're now going to just do a plus instead. And then we'll do block dot stone. There we go. And now, hopefully, although my world's now gone dark, so you might not see it, if I block dot stone, hopefully now, if we just leave, let's leave Python, exit Python. And now if we go to python volcano.py, oops, what have I done? C. Oh, center. There we go, that's better, isn't it? At least it's center. Obviously for yours, you could do C instead of center, and then like C0, C2, etc., etc. But I'm just doing it the long way for the moment. There we go. And now hopefully, boom, there it is. So there we go, there we got it. There's your volcano, and that's now 10 layers high, and it's a total of, well, it goes minus 10 here on the x coordinate, minus 10, and the the x coordinate minus 10, the z coordinate minus 10, and it goes all the way over here to the x coordinate plus 10 and the z coordinate plus 10, and then the y coordinate, which is up and down, it goes up to 10 blocks. There we go, good. Now the advantage of doing these bits here, the height and the center, is that if you change those, you're only changing one number, but you can make your volcano twice the size instantly. There we go. If you want to move it to the right, you just change that to, probably just move that to 20. Move that to the right, just do exactly the same, and it will move it to the right. There it is. So it's a very, very powerful way of improving your programs really, really quickly. Okay, good. So we've done the first bit there. We've got the, let's call this create the base. Create the base. There we go. So we've created the base of the volcano, which is good. But our volcano here, it sort of looks more like a pyramid than a volcano at the moment, because it looks a little bit too regular. So what do we need to do with that? Well, really what we need to do with that is we need to do some, put some random blocks on top of it there. So like dump some random blocks on top of it so it looks a little bit less regular. And we can use the random module to achieve this. So let's do for I in range, and we'll do height times height. There we go. Now, the reason I'm doing that, we don't really care about the height. I'm just using this number here because what I want to say is, okay, if let's say we've got a volcano that's 10 by 10, so a height of 10, which means that it'll be minus 10 to plus 10, which is 20, 20 times 20, which is 400. Then what we can say here is, okay, if it's going to be an area of 400, then what we'll do, if we do height times height, which would be 10, then we're going to do that 100 times. It will put 100 blocks somewhere randomly on this 400 possible base. So that's why we're doing that. I could just fix them out and just put 200 or 400 or 600. But the problem with that, if you did a fixed number, is that as your volcano got bigger or smaller, it's going to dump, if you had a tiny volcano, it's going to dump a huge amount of blocks on it, so it won't look right. Oh, spider. And if if you have a really big volcano, then I hope I get to the other bit quick. We'll get rid of all these horrible things. If you get a really big volcano, then again, it's only going to have a few dots. So by doing this, it's always going to be proportionate to your volcano size. Anyway, enough of that. So what are we going to do? Well, we need to calculate for each time we drop a block, to put it in a random place, we need to calculate a random x coordinate and a random y coordinate. There we go. So how does that work? Well, what we're going to use here is we need to do a random.randint. There we are. Let's just show you this, and let's jump back into Python to show you how this works. So in Python, if we do import random, and let's get rid of some space, there you go. And what we can do, random.randint generates a random number. So between two values. So let's say we had minus 100, 100. There we go. It will generate each time round a random number between those two values. There you go. And you can see it happening there. So it's just a good way of getting a random number. But the only thing we really need to know is that's the code for it. And we need to put the start, the lowest number and the biggest number. Now the lowest number and the biggest number corresponds, just like before, with this center naught minus size, and then the center plus minus size. So what you can do is you can say, okay, give me a random number, and it's going to be that there. Oh, not size, is it? Sorry, but like that. But it's not going to be size, because the size varies each layer. Because as the layers go up, it's going to get smaller. But we're going to dump it randomly, so it'll be height. There we go. So we start at the center of the center of there, and we go minus the height, which will get us the x coordinate, the farthest left x coordinate, and then we need to get the farthest right x coordinate, which is the same again, but this time instead of doing minus height, we do plus height. There you go. So that's going to get us that random x generator there is going to get us a random x coordinate somewhere from here along that plane there. So it's going to say, okay, pick a random point from minus 10 from the start, or plus 10, either of those two. So it's going to get us somewhere in between that range, which is great. And the y coordinate, we do exactly the same. There we go. Oh no, it's not y coordinate, is it? That's wrong. The z coordinate. Y is up and down, we don't want that. So random z, again, same sort of thing, but this time we do center 2. So it's the z coordinate and center 2. So again, it will probably get us the same number range, pretty much. In fact, it will get us the same number range, but it might have moved slightly. So whereas at the moment it's the x coordinate is 20, so it's going to get somewhere between let's have a look, 10 and 30. The z coordinate is 0, so it's going to get us somewhere between minus 10 and plus 10. There we go. So there you go. So we get that there, and then all we have to do once we've done the hard work is set block mc.setBlock, brackets, and then we do random x comma random. Oh, the y coordinate, we need to put it at whatever the height is. In fact, that will not work. That will be center 1. So we'll get the y coordinate of the base, add on the height of the volcano. So if the height's 10, then it will go to 10 above the center, and then we'll just add another 10 on top, just so it clears the top of the volcano before it drops all of the granite on there. Good. Oh, I've spelled center different. Yeah, center plus height is 10. Good stuff. And then random z. And then what we do is we do block dot gravel. There we go. The reason we do block dot gravel instead of block dot stone is if you do block dot stone, it just sticks in the air, and it doesn't actually drop on top of your volcano. Whereas, there we go. Whereas if you do gravel, it will appear at the top, but then it will start to drop. Good. Done. There we go. Excellent. And if you save that, hopefully that will work, and I haven't done too many bugginess. Let's just exit from there. Python volcano.py. Hey, and there you go. Boom. So now we've got a volcano. Oops. That one's on fire. Oh, it seems to be burning there. We've got a volcano here, and it's dumped all of the random blocks on the top. And if you want to, actually, what you could do is if you want to see it actually raining down on top, you could just add a time.sleep. Do a 0.1, so that's a tenth of a second. And then if you do that now, you should actually see that it will start to rain blocks. So you can see what's happening here. Each time it's picking a random x and a random z coordinate, and then it's moving to that position, and it's just dropping a gravel block onto that position. There we go. And that will just keep going until it's done all of the blocks. Now that's the height of 20, so that's 20 times 20 is 400. So that'll actually keep going, I think, for about 40 seconds. There we go. So we'll leave that going while we do a bit more. So we've got our random blocks on the top there. Now all we need to do is we need to get our do our little volcano bit at the top where it actually spews the lava. So let's do a while loop. While true. There we go. And because we want to keep on adding lava, and a while true is an infinite loop, we'll just keep adding lava. And we do mc.setBlock, and all we need to do is go to the top center of the volcano. So setBlock equals c brackets 0 comma c or the center. So the center top will be the center x. Good. The y coordinate will be center 1, good stuff, which will be the y center plus whatever the height of the volcano is. So that'll take you from the center of the base up, and then we'll do center brackets 2, which will get you the y coordinate of the center, the z coordinate of the center. Good stuff, and then we'll do block dot lava flowing. There we go. And then we'll put a time.sleep. We'll do 1 second sleep, shall we? There you go. So, nice. Oh, quick typo there. Let's get rid of that. Nice and easy there. All we do is we just do that. And hopefully, if we run the Python volcano again, I'll get rid of that time.sleep there. Because we'll just make them dump it at the same time for the moment. You can leave that in if you want. And if we press enter, there we go. And there you have a volcano that is erupting, which is good. Let's try a couple more times. It's only got one bit that's erupting out there, but we come here. Let's just Control Z, Control C, Control C. That gets rid of that energy program. If you run it a couple of times, hopefully you'll get one that's a little bit more exciting. There you go. Good. Done. So as you can see, this volcano here is erupting on all 3 sides there, which is brilliant. Now, That's all done there, which is good. And that's it. There's your volcano. So, things that you could do to improve your volcano. What you could do is you could set it here in your while true loop. You could have it so that it only erupts every 30 seconds or every 2 minutes. Just change your sleep to 300. If you did that, probably what you'd have to do is set the block of lava flowing. Set the lava flowing block there. Wait 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and then you'll have to probably cap the volcano, I'd imagine, maybe by changing the this one here from lava flowing afterwards to granite or to stone, and that would hopefully cap the top of it, and then wait 30 seconds and do it again. Again, you can have a go. You could do it where if every 30 seconds, instead of it erupting from there, you could do like a stream where it goes up, so you can have it creating a whole vertical column, or you could have it appearing on random places. That would work. Also, volcanoes don't look like pyramids, like funny pyramids. So you could think about how you could use a circular sort of base instead of a square base. You'd have to think about what code you could do. That would be a nice tough extension. So do a circular base, and you could also make your volcanoes concave rather than or convex rather than just straight edged. By which I mean here, my volcano sort of starts here and then goes straight up. Volcanoes might not actually do that. They might go like sort of a rounded way where they go up, slowly up, and then really steep, and then flat at the top. Or they might kind of like sort of like a rounded up to the top like that. So there's loads of different things you can do with that if you want to, but I'm just going to leave that at the moment. Any problems, just drop me a comment into the comments, and happy hacking.